This.
I'm Haley.
I'm John.
And I'm Will.
And we're from Crimson Comet, a podcast member of the GonnaGeek network.
Just like the one you're listening to now. The opinions expressed are those of the individual host.
Check out other podcasts at GonnaGeekNetwork.com. And get ready, because geekiness begins in
3,
2,
1.
This is it. The part of your week where you get to put your headphones on, relax, and listen to a bunch of geeks geek out about geeky things. They're passionate.
I'm an IT guy. You should never delete. Most of the time you delete, you regret deleting.
They rage.
You guys are being like hypersensitive with your point to be offended. Oh, he deleted his Twitter account. Oh, I'm mad. What?
And sometimes they're even funny.
Tell your wife that I said hello again and sorry I couldn't be there tonight.
It's okay. Your wife says hi too.
Let me emphasize that. Sometimes. Welcome to the GonnaGeek.com podcast.
Hello and welcome to episode 137 of the official GonnaGeek.com podcast. My name is Steven Jondra, and with me today is the whole crew, Stargate Pioneer.
Hey, what's up, guys? I'm podcasting pantsless because the dry cleaners lost my pants.
Well, that would be a very good reason. A very, very good reason.
Jeez.
Yeah.
You must be made of money.
I am the money. It's the green. I just bathe in it. Just like that movie with what's his name and what's her name?
Robert De Niro, I believe that's
descriptive.
Who
No. It was Demi Moore and what was his name? This guy who plays on Cheers. Willie Harrelson.
Norm. Gotcha.
No, Demi Moore and Norm in bed together.
It was Norm. Good to know. Good to know. We also have with us Chris Farrell for all.
I don't even know how to respond to the fact that SP lost his pants.
No, the dry cleaners lost the pants.
No, it's a better story if you lost your pants, so that's what we're going with.
I don't care. I did not lose my pants.
Hey, guys, I heard SP lost his pants. What did you guys hear?
I heard that too. I absolutely agree with that.
I know exactly where they are. I took them to the dry cleaners, and the dry cleaners lost them.
But where are they now?
I have no idea.
So you lost your pants?
No,
actually lose your pants?
Yeah,
that's funny shit.
They did.
That's funny.
I had a couple of shirts. They scanned the shirts. They put them on the rack, and then they spent the next half an hour trying to find my pants.
Really?
They give you money?
Yeah, they gave me $15 for an inconvenience fee, and then they offered to buy me new pants if they still can't find them. And the most funny thing is the lady that was right behind me, she came in to get her husband's suit, which he was going on a business trip tomorrow, and they lost his suit too.
Okay, so you've seen the Seinfeld episode, right? Because that's clearly what's going on here, where they're just walking around in everybody's clothes.
That's exactly what's going on.
And rounding us off here, we also have the one and only French-Canadian sensation, Jean-Sébastien Hero, because he is the true American hero.
American hero. La, la, la.
Thank you for not singing more than we're legally allowed to.
I didn't even know that was a real song.
I'm assuming it is somewhere.
It's probably somebody's copywritten it.
I'm surprised he didn't say, "And the Canadian hero."
We don't have heroes up in Canada. You should know that by now.
We do. Of course we do.
Are we talking about Rob Ford?
No, we're talking
He
about
has
Trudeau.
cancer, by the
Trudeau,
way.
right?
He has cancer.
I didn't know that.
Rob Ford's dying.
Now I feel bad about my
Yeah.
Rob Ford joke. Thanks, Chase.
Why? Why would you feel bad? Guy did crack cocaine while in office.
And admitted it.
Man, that's the dream, isn't it?
Like that's okay. That makes it all okay. I'm sorry. I did crack cocaine. I'm sorry. I had sex with hookers. I'm sorry.
And the best part is he kind of brushed it off like, I mean, it was a long time ago. It was like 3 weeks ago. Like, that was forever ago. It's in my past. Like,
yeah, it's horrible. It's just horrible that he didn't get, like, in any trouble whatsoever.
True, true. Well, if you are watching us tonight, you are going to notice things are a little bit different, and I'm a little more plain than usual, and I'm visually plain. I'm audio plain every single day, but what you should know is that we are absolutely using Hangouts on Air tonight because I am in the process of going through a major shakeup on the GGHQ, as I'll dub it. I've switched my office around, and my hugely complicated rig is not available tonight to be properly used. So instead, we are using the Hangouts on Air and doing a little bit of video manipulation after. So hopefully it's not too much different from what you're usually used to. But thank you for bearing with us. And I'll just go move my water off screen right now because I didn't realize it was on image.
Real podcasters take the day off to rearrange their desks, sir.
Are you calling me not a real podcaster?
That's exactly what I said, because if you were dedicated to the network, if you were dedicated to this podcast, you would have taken the day off and you would have been able to rip it just like normal.
If you could handle the truth, you'd handle the truth.
You want to know the best part about what I do? You want to know?
You play with yourself. Oh, porn, porn.
Porn, porn, porn. Porn.
Alrighty. See?
So you do porn. That's what you're saying. You do porn.
Absolutely what I. That's why I couldn't take the day off. Contracts. So we are going to start off the news with Chris Farrell. Chris, what do you got on deck for your news today?
So my news today. Have you guys heard of a little game called Diablo 2?
Yeah, they patched it.
That's exactly what I was going to talk about. For the first time in 5 years, Blizzard released the patch for Diablo 2. Why this is so significant is A, it'd been 5 years, and B, do you guys know when Diablo 2 came out on PC and Mac?
2001.
That's a close guess.
2003.
Oh, that's also close, but not as close.
I think 1999 was Diablo 2.
So you guys are close. June 29th, 2000 is when Diablo 2 arrived.
Oh, wow, really?
Wow.
Yes. And so just this last week, Blizzard rolled out an update for Diablo 2, bringing it up to version 1.14a, the first update the game has received since 2011 to improve Diablo 2's compatibility with modern operating systems. By that, I mean it plays nicer with Windows 10, Windows 7, Windows 8, and if you're a Mac OS user, now there's an OS X installer for Diablo 2. Something they didn't have before, because when Diablo 2 came out, Macs were on the PowerPC processor, not Intel hardware.
That's rich. PowerPC. I forgot about that.
Yes. So why I wanted to bring this up is this is part of Blizzard's ongoing initiative to restore their legacy games and make them playable on modern hardware. Probably about 6 to 12 months ago, they'd put out job postings trying to bring in engineers to help them modernize games like Diablo 2, Warcraft 3, and StarCraft. And this seems to be the first major patch we're seeing of one of these legacy games. And I don't know about you guys, how cool is it that Blizzard is supporting a game that is 16 years old still?
Yeah, but I'm actually surprised that people weren't being like, what is this word Blizzard? Because, the Earth was destroyed by global warming by the time they put a patch out. I thought that was what was going to happen.
No, they patch a lot, man. They patch a lot. They used to be known as a company that would never release games. They would take them years to release games. That was their motto before they got purchased. They would test the crap out of games. But since they've been purchased, they've completely changed their business model. They've been pushing a lot of content out in games very quickly. They've really changed their business model, and they've been very strong. Diablo 3 is getting very heavy patch support. The game is actually a lot better 2 years down the line now since it's released. They've changed a lot of things. They're very good in their patches. They've done that for World of Warcraft. That game was, it's always been well patched. They're doing it for Heroes of the Storm too. Their business model is changed. They release games really early now, and they patch the hell out of them.
And they've arguably made Diablo 3 better, like you were saying, after a few patches. Like, when it first came out, I played it on my Xbox One because they put out a console version of it. The version that came out there was stuff I didn't like. And they have been good about both on PC and console of updating that, adding new content, and taking out things that aren't working. Like, the biggest thing they got criticized for on Diablo 3 was the real money auction house, and they've stripped that out finally now. But if you look at Blizzard, this is just a trend, this long-term support. Like JS had mentioned, World of Warcraft, still widely used. World of Warcraft's what, like 13 years old? It was 03, 04 that came out?
Yeah, I thought it was 5, but...
It was it was my freshman year of college, because I remember kids failing out.
Yeah, 2003. It was 15 years ago last year, I think.
Yeah.
That's insane. That's really insane.
And that game highest it ever got was 11 million players. I think it's dropped down, but at one point it got very, very, very popular with absolutely everyone.
It really did. I mean, it was a cultural phenomenon. South Park even made an episode skewering the whole World of Warcraft thing, which is brilliant. If you ever get the chance, go and watch it. But like I said, I just thought it was really cool to see that Blizzard is making an effort to keep these legacy games I grew up playing, like Diablo 2 is a game I played with my dad when I was in high school. We'd fire up the local area network and put in some Diablo 2 time together. So it's really cool.
Your 10 megabit connection?
Yes, over the 10 megabit local area network, we would do that. And then when I was in college, we would completely bog down the dorm's network by everyone on my floor playing Diablo 2 together. It was ridiculous how, I mean, it just brings back such great memories to me. And the fact that they're doing what they can to keep this going, it makes me want to play Diablo 2 again. I haven't played the game in like 4 years.
Sounds about right to me.
So if you guys want to play Diablo 2, let's play some Battle.net Diablo 2.
Sounds sweet.
Yeah, I'd be down to reinstall the game. I grinded the hell out of that game.
Oh, me too.
Yeah, well, it is interesting, and I am really glad to see that some software somewhere is getting extra support, because that is something that ultimately, the more support you have, the better. So moving along in the news, I'll go with my news point here, which is about Apple and the confirmed March 21st launch event. This has been something that has been rumored for a while. People weren't sure what was going on, and people have been thinking it's probably the iPhone SE. And sure enough, yes, they have indeed put out an announcement that that there is an event March 21st, and they have not announced it yet. But the rumor mill is extraordinarily hot since this announcement came out. That yeah, that apparently maybe we're heading back in time. If I could turn back time. I can't do that. But yeah, so that's apparently what's going to happen. We might end up turning back time and getting a little bit smaller of an iPhone. We'll find out on March 21st. There's probably going to be a bunch of other random Apple announcements. And who knows? Maybe the SE will not be launched and we'll all just be sitting there crying.
Well, the federal government has transitioned from BlackBerry devices in America. I have no idea what Canada's government does, but it's been in the
cans
news.
And cord, basically, is what they use. String and cans.
Yeah, that would be good. Yeah, that would fit the motif up there. Pigeons. But anyway, the American... What's that, Jess?
We use pigeons.
Pigeons. That's always good. You don't use owls like the... Harry Potter school.
There's too many back doors in owls. Pigeons are safer.
Okay. So the federal government in America has transitioned from BlackBerries over to iPhones or Androids, but the Androids, they haven't fully tested out. So they're using iPhone 6S's to replace BlackBerries. So it could be a thing where the form factor of that iPhone 5S is the ultimate form factor for business.
Well, and what's really interesting too is they're in court the very next day.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how long is that contract gonna last there, SB? We'll find out. But I actually, I was one of the people who was like, really? You go to that big phone? Like, I remember when my dad got a Note 2 and I was like, seriously? Like, that thing, you might as well carry around your iPad. And now I think I carry a phone that's bigger than what the Note 2 was. And I know so many people who, when Apple first made the push to the larger screen size, they had that same thing. And I was constantly saying to people, like, look, I've been there. I understand your objections, but you're wrong. Like, you will like it. But I think there's a lot of people who still, unfortunately, go by that philosophy, and they can't overcome their objection to it and actually give it a fair shot. So Apple's going to try to capture that market back for those people. And I honestly don't think that they really have to do it. I really think that there's a lot of beneficial features to that 5-inch sort of size. And I think, I guess my experience has been, when I went up to the phone initially, to the bigger screen size, I was like, oh man, this is really big. But then after like a day, I was really used to it. A few days out, like a week after I ended up getting my new phone, I went and I grabbed my wife's old iPhone 4, and I ended up feeling like I was like typing on something the size of I don't know, an acorn. I don't know. Like to me, I found that the one way was a lot easier to accept than going back to the smaller. And I suspect that we're gonna see a bit of an interesting situation when if they do release this phone. And audio listener right now, SP is clicking away as he holds up to the camera all of his phones, various phones and tablets that he's had, and it is just pretty insane, the evolution that he's got in front of him.
Yeah, so I have an iPhone 4 or 4S. I can't remember what it is. It's the soundboard that we use for the Starling Tribune. So I've got that. My daughter just got me her old iPhone 5S because she upgraded to a 6S. So I've got that. But what I really wanted to say is, since Stephen was saying the size between the iPad mini and the iPhone Plus, I've got them both up to the camera right now. And a lot of people say, well, if you have one, why do you want the other? Well, I can't read a full page of comics on the iPhone 6 Plus. I can on the iPad mini. So I do like the two different sizes. They work for me.
Hashtag first world problems.
Exactly.
That's hilarious. But I have to admit, I like the bigger phone as well. I have the same problem as you, Steven. When the smaller phones I hold them now, it feels just wrong. I love the size of a big phone. What I don't like is when you're moving around with it, the chances of you dropping it are so considerable now, because one, the phone super skinny now, and they're all made of metal, right? So there's no grip nowhere, so they slide a lot. That's the one thing I find.
That's why my phone's not naked.
Well, it's naked again because I like it naked.
Well, there is one thing though that I have to say where I could foresee this taking off. And before I get to that point, I will just point out Suncast had a similar experience to us with his monitor when he went from a 17-inch 4x3 LCD to a 24-inch 16x9. He thought it might have been too big, and now he could easily go with a bigger monitor. I hear you on that, Suncast. That's what I primarily use is a couple of 24s, and I could foresee those becoming my secondary monitor at some point. But where I was going with my point here is that I don't know what it's like in the States. However, in Canada, we have seen an exponential increase in price point lately on the iPhone products, like to the point that the carriers here, because we went from a 3-year model to a 2-year model, people are still, I've talked about this a bit before, people are still swallowing that pill of a higher device cost up front, because when they ended, the Canadian phone market was always based off of a 3-year contract and a 3-year subsidy. So all of a sudden you reduce that to 2, and that's quite a bit of money that the carriers are going to have to adjust for, or they will have adjusted for, and that's what they did. So here I know some people who are saying, like, I really just, as much as I like my iPhone, I don't see myself buying another one unless the price comes down. I can't afford it. So I think this would be interesting if the price point is maybe 150 200 bucks less on contract. You might find that those sort of people, it keeps those sort of people as well.
Just go Android.
The exchange rate also doesn't help. I think the prices have gone up recently because of the exchange rates. The
True.
laptops have gone considerably up, almost 50%.
No, that's fair. That's fair. And I think some of the other manufacturers have actually been eating that a little bit more than iPhone has. And I'm not saying that that Apple should be eating that, because the bottom line is that $1 is $1 and it's out of the manufacturer's hands. But when you look at the market and you see that there's a lot of Android phones available for cheaper, especially, you get your new Android phones out, and within 3 to 4 months, you're getting pretty good sales on them at any given time of the year. With Apple, you're looking at past that 6-month mark to start really getting the good deals, unless it's like a Black Friday or Boxing Day sale. So I think that that's something that people also consider because they just see price point. But yeah, that was my news point. I'm interested to see regardless. I like I said before, I'm a diehard Android fan, and we will see what this presentation is about. I do need a new tablet. Maybe somehow there'll be something related to a tablet. SP, what do you got for your news?
Well, a little bit different than, tablets and iOS devices and stuff like that and Apple. I'm going to talk about Amazon, which I don't think they have any iOS devices on. And what's so special about Amazon? It's owned by one Jeffrey P. Bezos. Chris, he's one of your favorite people, isn't he?
He's an interesting guy. It's interesting the way he leverages his company to try and make new cool products and how he pretty much doesn't care what the shareholders say.
That's right. And he's done a phenomenal job so far. I mean, none of us would have thought I would say just 5 years ago that we would have Amazon Prime memberships, most of us here in the States. And I have one now. So that's pretty cool. So he made a big success out of Amazon, and he's got a lot of money. He calls it a lottery ticket, really. And what did he do with some of that money? He went and started a space company. It's kind of like Elon Musk, right? So he claims that from his childhood on, he's always been just enthralled with space, and he likes sci-fi with Star Trek. He calls himself a Trekkie. He was 5 when the Apollo 11 mission landed on the moon, or if you don't believe it, it's when it was shown on TV, but that's for another cast, right? And so he started this company called Blue Origin, a lot like SpaceX. It actually started before SpaceX, I believe, but it hasn't really had the speed of success, we'll call it. The speed of development is probably better. And it recently, I don't know if you guys knew this or not, but this year it actually launched a recovered first stage booster rocket. Just the same thing that SpaceX is trying to do with their Falcon 9. They've already done it. Of course, SpaceX with the Falcon 9 has done it, but they've done it in silence, in quiet, in secret. But they actually have done it. And that is cool that they've reused the first stage, and they are going to have this capsule, the Blue Origin capsule, which will basically either be able to do space tourism, take cargo or humans up to the International Space Station, and that sort of thing. So a lot of people are looking forward to this as a alternative to other things like the Lockheed ship or the SpaceX ship or whatever. But since it's been in secret, it hasn't really gotten a lot of press. And we talked about, like, a couple weeks ago, we talked about how the SpaceX has just made a party out of these Falcon 9 launches. So I think in a little effort to nudge back, to fight back a little bit, he opened up the company for a little over than 4 hours last week. And he let the press in and to see their hardware and to explain what they were doing and stuff like that. And the story that I found, or actually Chris found it, and he forwarded on to me, was in the Washington Post, which coincidentally he owns the Washington Post, but
right.
it was still a good article, and a lot of people are looking forward to this. I mean, let's face it, Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos are billionaire playboys that are doing really cool tech things with their money. And it'll be exciting to see how they push each other as it goes in the future. You can take a look at this like Microsoft and Apple. You can take a look at it like Ford and Chevy. I don't care what you take a look at it, but it's not just SpaceX out there. There's multiple companies that are doing this.
Yeah, now I read this article as well, and I want to see if I understood it correctly. My understanding is that my buddy Elon, because that's, we're on first name basis now.
Of course, yeah.
He likes to do lots of real world trials, hence the constant crashing of rockets, correct, SP?
Yeah, exactly. There's nothing better than exploding rocket. Well, wait, I mean...
But no, seriously, he's willing to push it out there fairly, not fast, but like, he's willing to throw the dice on some of the things here and whatnot, and actually real world try certain things. My understanding with this company lots of theories at this point and lots of on paper sort of things, right?
He has a very select, highly technical, highly experienced group in Blue Origin. So these are people that are the top of the profession, and he likes to just do it lean and mean. So that's kind of in opposition of what the SpaceX model is, but they both are seeing results, and we're going to see some more launches from both of these companies as the years tick on into 2020. Really exciting stuff. It's going to be really even more exciting once these manned capsules actually get into space. So they're all testing them, and I just can't wait till we actually, from Orion to SpaceX to Blue Origin, and we're getting all these great movement forward in space that we really haven't seen since the days of Apollo and Skylab and the beginning of the space shuttle. I mean, we kind of see it with the International Space Station, but we really haven't seen this sort of stuff in 30 years.
And if I'm remembering what I read in that article correctly, it's that they want to start doing commercial space flights, space tourism in 2017, Bezos said, which is not like launching people up to sit in space forever, but launching up a capsule to go into low orbit or whatnot so people experience weightlessness for like 30 seconds. Still, pretty sweet.
Launching on a rocket.
Does that come with Amazon Prime?
Yeah, SpaceX also has a contract to fly astronauts there by 2017 is what it says in the article. So that's probably where you're getting the 2017 date by. But it will be a different experience to do space tourism on a rocket that's launching from a pad versus taking off like an airplane and then shooting up once you get up to altitude 50, 60,000 feet. So it's going to be a slightly different experience.
See, I have to say, like, when I read this article, I really wanted more. I felt like it was a lot of lip service, to be perfectly honest. And I know that we're going to see some stuff coming, but there wasn't enough there for me to actually think of them as a competitor as people like Virgin Galactic and SpaceX.
The one thing that gives me hope is they actually reused a booster for a launch. So they're actually still doing tests. It's just not as spectacular as SpaceX.
Yeah, true. Yeah. Well, interesting. I do think that this is an area that we do need more competition of, and I do hope that soon enough we get more SpaceX type stuff, because I do think that this is the only way that we're going to see a significant push forward in advancement is with some competitors.
Talking about competitors, we had the launch today of the European Space Agency and the Russian Space Agency out of the Baikonur Cosmodrome in Kazakhstan of the first of a two-part mission to Mars. They launched the ExoMars probe, which will go around Mars and it will look for methane gas. This is very important because methane could be an indication of biological. It could also be an indication of geological activity. But what's most important about it is this stuff dissipates, especially in Mars atmosphere. So any methane that it actually senses could not be older than 400 years old. So they are searching for life. This is the first phase, as I said, and then they will launch their rover in 2018 during the next transfer, Holman transfer orbit, so that we can actually get out to Mars in 6 months. That's the optimum. I could go through the whole orbital mechanics thing, but that's the optimal way to get to Mars.
That's cool. That's cool. That means that if I'm understanding you correctly, we are heading to Mars with people tomorrow. That's the way that I interpret that.
And you would be completely wrong, which is not abnormal for the person that's running the GonnaGeek network.
Hey-o.
Oh, snip, snap.
Hey, it's what I do. It's what I do. By the way, if you didn't know, on the GonnaGeek network, we are a part of the GonnaGeek network, and we have a lot of excellent podcasts on there, including Better Podcasting. And in Better Podcasting, episode 20, we are joined by Chris Farrell, and I don't know who is that guy, and we end up hitting the Blabosphere, or the Blab streaming service, whichever you prefer, and that is something that we took live, audience questions and answers. We broke the format, so make sure you check out GonnaGeekNetwork.com for episode 20, and keep in mind, you want to have your whole face engaged. Okay, you won't actually get that because that will have been edited out, or that was edited out, I should say. So, yeah, the thing about Blab, the great thing about Blab is that when people call in, you got no screening, so you can have some real fun characters on there, as anybody who's been on Blab can attest to. But today we are going to be talking about the thing that broke the internet this weekend, which was the Captain America Civil War trailer. Right, Chris Farrell for all?
Yes, of course.
How many dislikes did this trailer get?
11 billion.
Yeah, so the Captain America Civil War trailer looked really cool, really pumped us up, but it didn't really pump us up until the very end when Underoos came forward, right, SB?
Yeah, Underoos, that was awesome. So I've been reading the comics, I've been reading the new Avengers stuff that Tony Stark's been involved in, whatever. I know he's linked up with Spider-Man, he's linked up with Nova, he's linked up with Miss Marvel and that sort of thing in the comics. So that's all cool. I did not expect Spider-Man to come into this movie without being linked to Tony Stark. That was cool. But I think that was a key moment in the trailer. I'll grant you that. However, I liked it when Ant-Man is flying in on the wedge. That was awesome.
I agree, and I actually didn't notice that until the second playing of it, or maybe the third. I didn't realize that, and that is incredible. It is just a really well done trailer as a whole. To me, by far, the Spider-Man took the cake, and the reason for that is not because it's finally Spider-Man in Marvel. It's because it's the best Spider-Man version we've seen in cinema ever.
Yeah, and let's not forget, there was also the Black Panther who got a lot of screen time in this. That was awesome, too.
In his bulletproof costume also, which was kind of sweet.
Yeah.
It's so confusing how people can have so much hate for something that wasn't even, 15 seconds? And it's people who've been complaining that they want something for so long. Bring Spider-Man to the universe. Bring Spider-Man to the universe. Which they do, and people still find something to complain about. Just people are never going to be happy.
Yeah, I didn't get all the hate that the costume was getting from some folks. Now, it was not the majority of folks, but again, it's on the internet, so they're always going to find that pocket of the internet where everyone's angry regardless of what it is. And there are some people that were just really venomous, no pun intended, with the Spider-Man character, but that really just did not like the look of the costume. And I understand if you don't, but one thing to keep in mind, I imagine it's a lot of CGI going in that. The CGI is probably not done yet. We've seen the CGI evolve in these trailers. From trailer 1 to trailer 2, we've seen a lot of changes. So don't expect it to be the final thing. This is a little teaser to get everyone excited. And I, for one, loved the costume. It reminds me very much of what you've seen of like Alex Ross paintings of Spider-Man. It looked like an Alex Ross painting on the big screen. The only thing that was a little weird, which I actually like, is how the eyes narrow down. Because if you've ever read a Spider-Man comic, that's what it's all about. The eye sizes change based off what he's doing underneath the mask. So it's a cool way to carry over that effect. And if you remember, Deadpool did something similar with having the eyes move and things like that too.
Yeah, some people are complaining, in the real world that wouldn't move. In the real world, you don't have a guy spitting spider webs out of their arms.
Well, and let's be honest. I know you guys probably read a lot of the Civil War arc when you were doing the Fanboy Buzz. Part of what happens there is Tony Stark builds Peter Parker an awesome new Spider-Man costume. So I think it stands to reason the costume we're seeing on screen is probably Stark tech. So it's going to have some cool gadgets. And when you see the eyes narrow down, you kind of hear a zzz noise in the background, which is tech sounding. And look at all of Tony's armors and stuff. They have little flaps and things that move and make noises like that. So my guess is it's Stark tech. And that kind of makes sense then.
I agree, and I said it before, and I'll say it again.
Say it again, buddy.
This is by far the best rendition of Spider-Man that we have seen visually, and I've seen, 10 seconds of it? It destroys all prior Sony versions of Spider-Man.
Well, see, I honestly don't have much of a problem with the costume they used in Amazing Spider-Man 2, because it's very much like was out of the comics. And the red and blue suit from the Raimi trilogy, I think is pretty good. It didn't age very well, but they're all fairly faithful adaptations of the comic book costume. And same with this one. It looks really good. And I'm sorry some people don't like it, but there's no pleasing everyone.
Yeah, but here's the thing, right? If we look at the Spider-Man in the trailer, and we compare it to the Spider-Man that is behind you on your left corner, your left shoulder, and the Spider-Man that is to your right behind it, it is very different, right?
From what we can tell, yes, the webbing appears to be not raised up like it was in the other movies, and the spider emblem on the chest is a little smaller and not necessarily consistent with what we've seen in the movies, but I'm okay with that.
And I am too. But my point is that the masses, I think that those that are essing on this are probably the people who are the ones who only know the recent adaptations, and that's why they're having a problem with it, because even I'm saying James Webb, but it's not Mark Webb. The Mark Webb versions kind of were close to the Raimi versions, right? So I think that the masses have this image in their mind, and that's what we're getting this backlash. I love it, and I really love the small spider, like the what do they dub that? The tick spider.
Something like that. So one of the criticisms I've seen from a lot of folks is that when you compare this to the costume you've seen in the previous movies and things like that, this costume is brighter. And yes, they darkened up the costume a lot in the movies. Spider-Man's costume has always been a garish, bright red and blue. It pops, it stands out, because if you remember his origin, he's a professional wrestler and entertainer originally. So his costume was designed for that, and he carried it over. I have no problem with this being this bright bit of color that pops. Everyone else's costumes are a little more subdued, things like that. Does that mean that's how we'll see it in the final version? Who knows? Because remember, Tom Holland was only supposedly on set for like a week max. He'd barely been cast by the time they filmed this.
Yeah, let's just wait till the movie comes out and then judge.
Yes.
You're judging the part of a trailer where he steals a shield and it's an introduction of the character. Let's wait. Let's go judge the Ghostbuster movie while we can. That's something we can judge right now.
So, did you guys catch what might be an actual spoiler in the trailer itself that gives away a plot point?
I saw the article, but
yeah, there's an article on comicbook.com where Reddit users pretty much went through frame by frame. There's a Reddit user by the name of Laffy Saffy who found what appears to be a pretty decent spoiler. And if you don't want to be spoiled, I will hold off, guys.
Okay, we are going to yes, Jesus died at the end of the movie, but we are going to give the spoiler right now. So turn down your computer we'll give you 60 seconds. Chris, go ahead.
60 seconds. So you have the scene in the trailer where Captain America and Iron Man are fighting at the very end. Cap drives his shield in Iron Man's face. In the background, you can see the Winter Soldier's severed arm behind Captain America laying on the ground. So it would appear that Winter Soldier loses his mechanical arm.
But that's not a big deal. He can get it back,
Presumably, but it's something that we didn't know, and for people who want to go in
the comic too.
Yeah, he does. But for people who want to be spoiler-free, I don't want someone to be writing hate mail to Chris at GonnaGeek.com, like saying, "Oh, you son of a bitch, you just spoiled me on Spider-Man and then spoiled me on Civil War," and things like that. I don't need that. And I sounded kind of Trump-like there, I think. Sorry. It's going to be huge!
All right, well, we'll wrap up the spoiler talk there because we're up towards the 60-second mark. But interesting, very interesting, and I cannot believe that once again they killed off Uncle
Ben.
I was actually I was debating on the callback to the time that I called him Uncle Owen, but I decided to leave that alone.
I honestly thought you were going to sing the Canadian song.
Which Canadian song?
The one we can't sing.
We're not allowed to sing it because we're going to get censored, but it's the...
Shut your bleeping face,
bleep,
Uncle
bleep,
Bleeper.
bleep, bleep.
Oh, yeah. That's right. So we did post on the Facebook page. We asked what people's favorite moments were, and we only got one response because I just posted it yesterday. And I had asked for the top 3 moments of the trailer, and we had Lou Gagliardi say, "I don't have a top 3, but I think Spider-Man with Cap Shield would do wink emoticon." I believe he actually typed the wink emoticon, but it showed up in my text log as wink emoticon.
Interesting.
That does it for me, and I love the superhero pose at the end as well.
Yeah, the superhero landing. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Although, if you haven't gotten your fill of the Avengers lately and you just want to have some fun, go watch season 6 of Venture Brothers, and you will see spoofs on Captain America, I want to say Hawkeye, but it's really Green Arrow and Thor. It's really funny if you haven't caught it already. They're up to episode 6 or 7 now, so have fun with that.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And I also have to say that this quite clearly definitely earns its keep at being dubbed Avengers 2.5. I'm good with that.
Yeah, you're not too far off.
I think it's Iron Man 4.
Yeah, no, it's Avengers 2.5. Absolutely.
Which is Iron Man 4. Same
No.
thing,
No.
same movie.
Because Iron Man 3 never happened to me. I'm
Really?
kidding. It
You
was
didn't
actually
enjoy
no.
the movie?
I'm kidding. It was. I really liked it, but I was speaking for the people. But no, I actually think that it was a good movie, and it was a lot more character centric on Tony Stark rather than just Iron Man. So really good, really good.
To be honest, Steven hasn't liked an Iron Man since Iron Man 1 because they haven't brought back his favorite character.
I had no problem with Iron Man 2. I really didn't.
Steven, you just missed the ice cream kid. I know how it is.
You know,
I did.
Captain America is the only one that hasn't had a solo movie because the first one was all about Peggy Carter. The second one was all about S.H.I.E.L.D. And this one is all about Iron Man. So it's really not Captain America.
One could argue that Thor was about Professor What's-His-Face.
Selvig?
What's
Selvig.
her face?
Whoa.
No, I was talking
Jane.
about I was talking about Selvig.
I'm not. I'm talking about Jane.
Yeah, I agree. Actually, I don't agree because Captain America 1 to me is about Captain America, but not about Peggy Carter. I know
Haley
that
Atwell.
Haley Atwell is amazing, but the movie is not about Haley Atwell or about Agent Carter. So you are wrong. Wrong.
Oh, I don't think so. I think I win this one.
Let me guess that Winter Soldier was about Agent 13 as well, wasn't it, SP?
Yes, absolutely.
Chris, JS, you got anything you want to chime in here?
I got nothing. I think we've covered it.
Awesome. Well, I can't wait to see this more, and this will be one that I will have to see the first weekend for sure. It looks quite incredible. And maybe I'll have seen Ant-Man before then. Yep, haven't seen Ant-Man.
Whoa, it's on Netflix Canada.
I know it is. I just looked it up the other day when I saw Ant-Man.
Well,
in the
time to
trailer.
fire up the VPN.
All right. Well, that is going to take us towards the end of episode 137. But before I do close here, if you are listening to this after Friday, which is more than likely, you missed C2E2. That's why you should always keep your eyes on GonnaGeek.com because we always have a bunch of updates about what's going on with the network. But if you are checking this out live and you are going to be in the Chicago area on Friday,
18th of March.
18th of March, you definitely want to head to room S503 on Friday and check out these fine homies, and they might even have some swag to help you with your podcasting.
What's that, JS?
Oh.
Say it again.
Somebody was yelling at me saying we're getting pints at the line.
That's your liver, JS. That's your liver.
But yeah, SB, where can everybody's gonna find you on Friday, right?
Yep, Friday in the workshop room, which is room S503 at C2E2. That is the Chicago Comic and Entertainment Expo 2016, 2:45 p.m. Chris and I will be there with Naki, Beef, Cody, and Willie, and we will be giving you tips on everyday podcasting for your everyday life. And yes, as Steven mentioned, we will indeed, I guarantee it, have swag for you that will help you with your podcasting.
Oh my God. I'm so excited.
And
I wish I had money to join you guys.
you can, hop on a train,
train?
hobo. Yeah, hobo with your little knapsack and everything.
I could drive. I mean,
Yeah,
I do have a car.
All right, we'll see you there.
Awesome. Well, that does take us to the end of episode 137 of the official GonnaGeek.com podcast. At least I hope it's 137. I haven't actually read that part of the show docs today. So for episode 140, I'm Steven John Drew.
ATR 2100s for everyone.
Say it again.
ATR 2100s for everyone.
Yay! It's in the mail.
And I'm Mr. Pantsless.
And I'm gonna go get some pints at the line.
There will not be ATR 2100s given away at C282. Let me make that very clear. Bye.
From everyone here at the GonnaGeek.com podcast, thanks for listening. If you like what you heard, please give us a 5-star review on iTunes. We encourage you to send your feedback by email to podcast@GonnaGeek.com. You can find all of our show history at GonnaGeek.com/official podcast. And while you're there, why not head over and check out all of the geeky podcasts on the Gonna Geek Network? The music heard on this show is by Kevin MacLeod of Incompetech.com. Thanks for listening, and we will see you again next week.
Awesome. So there you go. That does wrap up episode 137. I apologize for the lack of backdrop tonight. I know out of all of the changes that we had, that is what the audience is most disappointed about.
So, Steven, you missed an ideal chance to blind toss us for the first time in forever tonight.
I'm telling you, I'm off tonight. I am so off tonight with my hodgepodge hookup here and my spaced out monitors when I didn't really want them like this. I am way off.
I can't even tell when the picture is on me.
I can't. It won't change. It changes. It's normally it changes when you talk though, but it doesn't seem.
I was never on big screen when I saw it today. So
I don't know. Audience, let's wait the 30 seconds. Live viewer, was it changing to different people tonight?
I know.
Time?
I know it was, but when it went to me, I didn't see me. I saw you.
Oh, see, it was sitting
You are me? I am you.
Oh no!
If you are you, who am I? I am you.
Yeah, I don't know. Because there was times that I was actually controlling it too.
Well, I could go and yeah. He says Dane says it was switching the chat.
Okay,
room.
cool.
I just couldn't tell. Like when you were trying to blind toss it to me at the end, I can only assume you were trying to. I couldn't tell it was me. I just saw you.
I'm so used to you flipping the camera, so I was like, I don't know who's supposed to go.
I assumed that it would because I was clicking through the night at different times, and I think the audience was seeing that. I think because. Yeah, my understanding is if I click on it, it streams out to the audience, so I assumed you guys would see it, but apparently not.
Well, if it's anybody but for yourself, you see it. Like I was seeing you, for instance, when you were on me.
Yeah, it's switching. I just went and replayed some of the old stuff in Hangouts right now. It was switching, so we're good.
I'm going to be real honest. Today, I've been a criminal. I was in the division while we were on a podcast. I'm a horrible person. Horrible person.
Shocking. Shocking.
This is my shock face.
Yeah, here we go. By the way, the live listener, on Better Podcasting, we got told that we need to emote more with our higher part of our face. So that's what we're going to do now is podcast like this.
I got to go.
All right.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Don't forget to buy a pint for me.
Send your track, JS.
Yep.
I need it really bad. Bye.
I do. I'll save it. Bye.
Phrasing. Are we doing phrasing still?
No. But that's the best
Phrasing
part
is
is when you do this, then the audience can't really hear you right. So that's the best part about it.
No, they can hear me
Unless
just fine.
you do it like this.
Yeah, they can hear me.
I'm just gonna lean in front of the mic a little bit. And
Exactly.
talk into the side of it. Am I emoting enough for you guys?
I like the eyebrows and the eyes closing and opening. I like that.
What's that hiss all of a sudden?
That was JS leaving.
That's bizarre.
And
Shouldn't
Google Hangouts was trying to recompensate.
Yeah, and as soon as you stop broadcasting, the vocals will get like 1,000 times better in the Hangout. You'll see too.
Hey.
It never fails.
Awesome.
Never.
Well, I suppose that's something that we should shut her down, and maybe I can work on rebuilding at some point.
We'll get to work.
I don't know. I felt right.
I was still too monotone. Sorry, guys.
You gotta be get to work. I can't
get to work, guys. We gotta keep doing this stuff really quickly. Oh god, that hurts.
It's definitely the Botox. But I don't know. I feel right. Like my idea was, and listener, and viewer, I'm just gonna go ahead and bore you right now. My idea was to face this way, and over this direction is where my computer was before. My intention was to face this way, but I don't feel good about it. I feel like I need to face the other way.
Well, that's because your microphone is to the side. You
Yeah,
put the
you
microphone
gotta-
in front of you, and you'll be fine.
Yeah.
That buzz is really bugging me, whatever it is.
I don't even hear a buzz.
Whatever. Oh, well. All right, well, let's go ahead and shut her down. Should we do that? Live
All
audience,
right.
thank you very much for coming by. We do appreciate that very, very much. And here, just on the way out. Why not, right?
Bye.
Bye.